Hello everyone, my name is Abhilash. I started my development journey in 2021, but there is a past to it. I passed my BTech in 2018, and after that, I took a break for about 2 years where I gave myself the ample amount of time where I wanted to pursue my dream of getting into the Indian Army. And then for those 2 years, I appeared in several, CDS examinations and all, and I cleared them. Then I, went ahead and appeared for the SSB interviews, but for some reasons, I couldn't make through it. And then, for the next year also, I again sat through the PCS examinations as well. I cleared the pre for PCS examinations. I appeared for the mains, but as things were, I couldn't make past that as well. But then, as people say that you should always have a plan B. And that was the time when I, gave myself an year. And that 1 year, I self-taught myself HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React.js. And after that, since 2021, I started my journey as a front-end developer in React.js. Things were pretty good. Things were pretty smooth. There was a learning graph for me. Earlier, once you are, coming back from a gap of 3 years, you have these apprehensions in your mind that how are things going to be, am I going to, am I able to, stand against, what the industry standards are as per now. As a developer, will I be able to, be as a person who is coming from a gap of 3 match the industry standards that are there already currently going on. But then as it says, it's all about the training that you do, it's all about the learning that you do, and that learning, that training, going through the code day and day night again, practicing the codes, going through the core concepts, those are the things that eventually help you. For example, when I started working, when I in 2021, majorly, basically I was given codes and things related to HTML and CSS. And eventually, I started getting onto the other major aspects of it. I started getting work that was related to React.js, and then I started getting work which for me, I had to implement Redux in it as well. And then things started going on, and then as you have to in this industry, you have to upskill yourself. And for me, upskilling was getting onto Next.js, for, as you all know, it is about making the site as serverless, on the server as possible, less on the client side, more on the server side. And that was something I upskilled myself onto. Knowing React, having the grounds for React, upskilling was relatively easier, and which is also very necessary. You cannot just sit down with the only as you say, the skill that you have. You cannot just, in this industry, you cannot just sit and say, I have learned these three technologies and I'm going to stick with them. You have to upskill. And eventually, after Next.js, things started going on. Then I got my hands on GraphQL and other various things that, with every coming project, things started going on. Today, after, say I'm about to reach the point where I am going to be 4 years in this industry. And in those 4 years, if you look at the graph, today I'm also working with, AWS. And AWS is something, people say that DevOps engineers are into it, but as a front end engineer, I am getting the opportunities of working, and I'm putting my hands into it. What is DB, how to set up DBs, how to get data from them, how to set up data for the DBs, what is AWS, how to use it. Because if you say majorly all the prominent companies, they are using AWS, because as you know, AWS is very much sufficient. You are only billed for the amount of traffic that is coming through your site. You don't have to pay throughout, for a whole section of it. The section keeps on changing over there in AWS, and you have to pay for that amount of traffic that is coming on your site. So that is also something that I'm working on right now, and that has come through the journey of it, working, of having the dilemma at first that I have this gap, I have 3 years where I have given to a dream that maybe for some reason I was not able to do. But then after those 3 years, I self-taught, and then I started working, But when you are starting to work in this field, you cannot expect ki, okay, I have this degree with myself and I should be paid this sum of amount. Degrees don't equal to the amount that you are getting. As I am a BTech myself, eventually, you have to start at a very basic entry level. And then, with the skills that you have, with the projects that you do, and the work that you put on towards your company when they see it. And then, when you switch with the skills that you have gained from the previous company, you are definitely going to see an increase in numeration as well. And that is something that comes as supportive gesture as well. You feel encouraged. You feel like, yes, you have done something. You have upskilled yourself. And this is the path that you should follow. If you worry that I have a gap, I have a few years that I have spent towards something, and now will I be able to get into the industry? You will be able to get into the industry, but just make sure that your core concepts are clear, because interviewers are out there to hire you. Interviewers are out there looking for skilled people. It's just the matter of fact to getting the chance of showing your skills. So whenever you land that interview, make sure that you are ready for it. Make sure that you are prepared for it. And whenever that happens, you just give your best shot at it, because in the current scenario where there is so much AI, so much code coming from AI models, slowly and steadily companies are going to realize that this is so much over engineered code. Things as a developer, the core skills of a developer are going to be tested even more in the coming times. Only the developers who know what they are doing, what the core concepts are, how things should be or should not be done, only those developers are going to survive in the coming times. So if you have any fear regarding this, will you be able to make into the industry? If you have a gap or not, then don't worry about it. Just make sure that you have all the required skills. You know the code in and out. You know what you are doing. You know how things happen. And just be confident. And that is something that will take you through. So thank you guys.